Welcome to another episode of SJ Scrubs, and today I'm scrubbing Civilization 6 Gathering Storm again. For those of you who watched the first series, or the first 3 videos of the series that I was making, you will know that the audio for that was just absolutely poopers, and you couldn't hear a word that I was saying because, for whatever reason, the music on this was turned way too high. So anyways, starting from scratch, another reason is I was already starting to get my butt kicked, so, everybody deserves a second chance. So, a couple of things with this new expansion that were not in the old game. First of all, there are a bunch of new leaders. You've got Phoenicia, you've got Eleanor of Aquitaine from France, Eleanor of Aquitaine from England, you've got Sweden, you've got the Maori, you've got Mali, you've got Hungary, you've got Inca, you've got the Ottomans, and of course, you have my beloved Canada, which is what I'm going to be playing as. I'm going to set this to large, and I'm going to crank up the city-states because, I'm Canada and diplomacy and etc., etc., etc. I'm going to turn down the amount of AI civilizations in this because I'm trying to give you a better sense of the new mechanics. Now, disaster intensity is something that's new, and I'm going to set that to 4 because why not? There's earthquakes. No, there's not earthquakes. There's volcanoes, there's blizzards, there's dust storms, there's floods. I'm going to keep this on Prince setting, kind of middle of the road. I am going to set this to online speed, just so that I'm not playing this forever. I'm going to set the resources to abundant. I'm going to set the sea level to low, because I would like more land to spread out. I'm going to turn off the cultural victory, simply because I find, as somebody who likes to build world wonders, that the cultural victory tends to come really quickly. So I'm going to take that off. But a diplomatic victory, which is new, and you'll see that eventually, I guess. All of these things I'm going to keep on. So here we go. Start game. So again, this is my gift to you, those who were interested in watching Gathering Storm, but were not interested in getting your
first stirrings of life beneath water,
eardrums blown out of your skull.
Age, to man taking his first upright steps, you have come far. Now begins your
Sean
greatest
Bean,
quest,
your sweet dulcet tones.
On towards the stars.
I always
You
like it
chose the
because
sunny ways, Wilfred
it makes me
Laurier,
feel like
that
Boromir
made
is
cheerfulness
narrating
and
a game.
courtesy the character of the Canadian people. Where others look to divide and sow mistrust, you inspire cooperation and understanding. Show the world that a unified people can forever stand the test of time.
And I like his little Canadian pin there. Looks pretty smart. He I mean, look at those pecs. Look at how his chest fills out. You've been working out, Wilfrid Laurier. Good job, man. Great for your age. I approve. So, Canadian specialties. You cannot declare surprise war on anybody, nor have surprise war declared on you, which is great. You get extra diplomatic favor for tourism. Your unique unit is a Mountie, which is a cavalry replacement, and your unique building is, of course, the ice hockey rink. I personally would have preferred a Tim Hortons, but that is because I am a coffee junkie. So, again, I don't have any mods on this, so that you guys can see just the base mechanics of what's going on. I am not a fan of the mountains there, because unless you are the Inca, these are absolutely not workable. So I think what I am going to do is move down. Now, normally my My wife, my dear wife, brought me on board with this strategy, and that is, previously when I had played this game, I had always gunned for science, 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 all the way. Partly because I am a scientist myself, and partly because I just feel like, if you get all this stuff researched early, you get better units, you get better buildings, etc., etc., etc. However, that tends to leave you with pretty few cities early on, and so she got me on board with early city spamming, which previously I had not taken into account. So here's the goal. First, get a lot of scouts. Second, once astrology is researched, build a holy site and get my religion up and going. And thirdly, when I finally get a governor, instead of picking the science guy, I am going to pick the one that allows you to build settlers for no population cost. And eventually you have the ability to build settlers for faith. So, or purchase settlers for faith. So, if you get your faith up and running, I'll do a builder. If you get your faith up and running, then you can, that's fantastic, you can spam those settlers without having to kind of handicap your cities by lowering your population. So that was that's her strategy, and I'm going to test it out and see how that goes. I would have preferred to find a natural wonder by now just so that I could boost this to the end, but it is what it is. I'm still looking for... Oh, what's helpful? Still looking for those goody huts. There is a mod called Good Goody Huts, and it needs food. Gross. And that mod increases the amount of goody huts that are spawned, and that also increases the benefits of those goody huts. So you're more likely to get builders or what have you. Mexico City. Regional effects from the industrial zone and blah 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 blah. That's okay. The fact that I didn't get an envoy automatically tells me that there is another civ somewhere over there that is already... They were the first to meet those guys. So I am already kind of behind. Now, those policies that I chose my economic policy was one that gets my faith going, so that I can get to a religion, a pantheon, easier, and one that upgrades my scouts. I get more experience for my scouts. Now, the tech tree and the civics tree have been revamped. There are a couple of new wonders in here. There are a couple of new policies. There are a couple of new techs and civics themselves. Most of this stuff early on looks roughly the same. I'm trying to find the first new... So here's one. It's new with Gathering Storm. The Meenakshi Temple grants 2 gurus, which are religious units. And I think previously either you had to be a certain civilization or you had to take a certain religious belief to build gurus. That might not be the case, but either way, this Meenakshi Temple, if you build it, it gives you gurus, so it becomes another source. So there's just other stuff, and once you go all the way to the end, there's even additional types of governments, corporate libertarianism, digital democracy, synthetic technocracy, and then undiscovered kind of civics that you don't see until you've researched up to this point. And the same goes for the tech tree. There's new wonders, there's new new techs, etc., etc. So I like to go foreign trade first, to get the trade going. Then I like to go to the state workforce because of this policy that gives you extra production towards wonders. And then I like to end with political philosophy, just to beeline to these new governments. Because again, if you have a government, it increases the amount of policies that you can do. Now, in terms of listening to Sean Bean talk about the techs, talk about the civics, etc., 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 it really depends. If he's describing something new, I'll let him talk. If he's talking about, just like a regular tech that's from the base game, I'll just X out of it. So another one of the new wonders is this great bath that you get in pottery. So with Gathering Storm, like I said before, there's natural disasters that can happen, and one of those natural disasters is flooding that occurs along rivers. So this great bath, the floodplain tiles along the river containing Great Bath are now immune to flood damage. So when floods come, they will increase the fertility and or production of tiles, but they'll also wipe out or damage improvements that you make along those tiles. So if you build the Great Bath along a river, it will help any floods along the entire river, which is great if you've got a bunch of cities along the same river. I purposely moved my capital away. I am going to go to irrigation because I do like the hanging gardens. Gets that population going. And then I'm going to... What else am I going to do? I got a lot of mining things around there, so I'm also going to... I'll do mining next. Choose production. I am going to get this holy site going. I wish I got... an adjacency bonus for that. Kind of stinks that I don't. But just to get it up and running is the key to all this. So we'll see how this goes. Again, I was getting my butt caked in the earlier playthrough of this. Oh, I am the first to meet these guys, so... Receive a relic each time you discover a new natural wonder, and earn 50% faith from new relics. That's a good bonus to have. So we'll see. Again, this is SJ Scrubs. This is not SJ is good. This is not SJ is, super pro player. So we'll see how this goes. And again, I have done another kind of test recording with this, and I found the volume levels to be acceptable, so we will see how this goes. Hopefully you can hear me pretty clearly. We'll go woods. So this is take 2 of Canada non-warring playthrough. I'm also going to try and cut the length of these videos down. The previous ones were like 30, 40, 50 minutes long. And I'm going to try and chop that up into more manageable kind of 15, 20 minutes, because I realized that not everybody has the time to just sit down and watch a video for, an hour. But I figure everybody's got 15 minutes. So we'll see how this goes. There's my Pantheon. Okay, so again, I don't have any mods. There are mods that will increase and change what pantheons and religious beliefs are available. None of this looks particularly new. I'm just going through these and trying to remember what they were in the old game. Um, do, 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 do. That might be new. Possibly. Maybe not. In general, I tend to go with either Divine Spark, because it gives extra great people points, which is great early on when you're looking to get those early scientists and engineers and merchants, and kind of all of the civilizations are vying for them. Later on, once you've built up kind of all of your districts, you tend to run away with the great people, but early on, the AI can kind of sneak them from you. So the Divine Spark is helpful. This Monument to the Gods is also very helpful. Extra production towards ancient and classical era wonders. But again, that only applies to ancient and classical era. Doesn't really help you later on, whereas this will help you kind of for the whole game. So I'm going to go with the Divine Spark. And that will apply to, I believe, all new cities that you found. It's possible that it doesn't unless they have that religion, but we'll see. That looks like coast, just from the way that cliff face looks. I'm going to hold off going down over here because I want to hold off meeting that new civilization. My goal in exploring right now is getting these goody huts and finding new, there we go, finding new city-states. So what do we got? Your builders can now make Moai improvements, give 1 culture, 1 extra culture for every 2 adjacent Moai, 2 culture adjacent to volcanic soil. So there's a culture powerhouse. And the nice thing about being the first to find them is that because of this 1 envoy, you do get these bonuses. So I'm missing out currently on 2 production when producing wonders, buildings, and districts, which kind of sucks because I like the wonders. But I am getting 2 faith in my capital and 2 culture in my capital that the AI isn't. So, shoot.
मैं मोहनदास गांधी हूँ। मेरे लोग मुझे बापू कहते हैं, पर कृपया मुझे मित्र कहें।
It is an honor to meet you, Gandhi. We should exchange where capitals are. So he's okay. So he's way down there, and he's already met Mexico City. So he's been all up over here. That does tell me that this continent is kind of extends down here for a good bit. Now, as a pacifist Canadian myself, I can appreciate Gandhi as a historical entity. In Civ 6, in the Civ 6 universe, and just the Civilization in general universe, Gandhi tends to be kind of a dick. He just goes ham on the nukes later on, and it's a bad situation all around. So hopefully, me and Gandhi can kind of keep it real, and become good buddies and kind of besties and
That's the positive aspect of trade, I suppose.
non-nukesies.
The world gets stirred up together.
Change policies. So I've got my Pantheon. I'm going to change that to production. Naval units. I'm going to keep the double experience on my scouts. So I'm going to cut it there. I have my Pantheon, working on my religion, making these great profit points from my holy site. So once that gets to 30, I'm making 2 a turn. Once that gets to 30, I'll get my religion, and then I'll start actually building other cities, which seems like a good idea. So anyways, I shall see you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe. Hit the happy face if this video makes you happy. Makes you happy. Wow, my grammar doesn't make me happy. So, anyways, like, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.